All right. Okay. Stranger Things season 5 is out. I haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But bro, I was trying to watch this movie called Demolition by Jake Gyllenhaal. Very good movie, by the way. I just finished it. But I think I might start Stranger Things season 5 in like maybe a week or so. I don't know. It may be this weekend because today is Thursday at the time of recording this. But my thoughts on season 5, I'm gonna give my predictions on what it's gonna be like. Of course, they're gonna kill Vecna at the end of the season. But my big like not conspiracy. How would you say this? Prediction will be that Steve is going to die at the end. Yeah, that's my guess. And then as he's dying, there's this thing going around on TikTok is that when Steve is dying at the end, his song "End of Beginning" because like he's a musician, right? Joe, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce the Spotify name. DJO is like the spelling of it. Um, his song "End of Beginning" it went famous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it went famous in 2023, 22. I don't know. It was around then. It went like quite famous. I still listen to it to this day. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I think that song is gonna play, and he's gonna sacrifice his life to kill Vecna in some way. I don't know what it is. Um, that's one of my guesses. Another one of my guesses is that Will, he's going to like sacrifice his life to save like 11 or something like that, right? Um, that's because like Will of course was like the guy from season 1. He was like the guy that got kidnapped and everything. A lot of the story is based off of Will, and I think when he dies it kind of like shows like the significance of that, and like it gives it a little bit of cyclical structure in a way, so it loops back to season 1. That is my other guess. He's gonna so Will save 11 dying in the process, and I think Steve is either gonna save everybody as a whole or save Nancy. I guess I can say it in an American accent. Nancy. Oh, that feels so weird. I can't do this. Nancy or Dustin. I think it's either going to be Dustin or Nancy. Um, the thing why the reason why I'm not really thinking it might not be Steve is because he already got his redemption, and well, I can't really do this. Let me just skip until I can do this. Okay, I did it. But the reason why I don't think it's not gonna be Steve is because he already had his redemption in season 1 when he apologized to Jonathan when he we used to bully him. That was really cool. I can't lie. That kind of what made Steve my favorite character. Yeah, I don't know if it's really a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take personally, but Steve is my favorite character. It might be Jonathan, possibly Jonathan, but I think it's probably quite Steve. Steve is really cool. I think he's great. Um, oh yeah, so that is kind of like my predictions on the season. I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. If everybody lives, hey, that's a good ending, right? um, that's actually a very good ending. But I will watch it in a couple days, and I will probably make a video talking about it. But also, what I do want to talk about, I think what they've done, I think Netflix is in charge of how they come out. I don't know, but I think what Netflix has done for Stranger Things for it to come out in December the 25th, for volume or part two. I don't know what you call it. I'm just gonna call it part two, for the part two of it, and then on New Year's, just what 6 days afterwards, I'm pretty sure there's a 31st to um what do you call it, December. So yeah, so 6 7 days afterwards. Oh, see what I did there. See, sorry. I think then there's the season on January the 1st. There would be the last part, which of course is quite sad because the show's ending. And but it's gonna be so cool. That's like, imagine that December holidays, right? Just Christmas, sitting down on Christmas night after you've had Christmas dinner to watch the other part of Stranger Things. You cannot tell me there's anything better than that. That's actually peak, bro. Oh my days. But also, there's one more thing I need to think about. What was I gonna talk about? What was I gonna talk about? Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Okay, so basically, what I was gonna talk about is that the whole relationship between Jonathan and Nancy. I don't know if it's gonna stick this season, because of course in other seasons there's that scene where Dustin's is in the car with Steve, and they're talking about Nancy, and then Dustin's like teasing Steve about it, and then like there are subtle hints around not s- I don't really say subtle, but there are hints where Steve most likely still has feelings for Nancy. Um, but of course, he kind of had feelings for Robin, but then of course, she turns out to be lesbian, so then they don't really do anything afterwards. I can't see this, but so I think because of that, I really think Jonathan will probably break up with Nancy at the either at the end of part two or part one, and then in the last part, Jonathan is not it will literally not get back with Nancy, and Steve will get back with Nancy. I think that's gonna happen, but I think Jonathan will probably either just be he'll either just be very sad, but that won't be a satisfying conclusion to the end of the show. He'll probably be just with his brother Will, and just chilling. But I really highly doubt that's gonna happen because like the show's ending and you can't end the show with someone breaking up with like another person and that's like full on ending. And in terms of a sequel, which is probably the last thing I'm gonna talk about here, I really don't think I don't see how they can make a sequel of Stranger Things. But if they make like a movie sequel, because with Dexter, if you guys have seen Dexter, which is one of my recent watches that I watched I finished around a month ago. Amazing, by the way. They did the sequel by doing New Blood, which is a one season show, and then Resurrection, which is another one season show. And season two will be coming out for that soon, hopefully. But yeah, in terms of a sequel, if a sequel does come out, it probably will be a movie, but it probably won't be until like 3 4 years time. Um, but in the end of the day, I think hopefully the season comes out to a satisfying ending. And hey, man, Stranger Things. I started watching this when I was like 14. I'm 18 now, so like, what 4 years? And hey, man, I can't wait to see what the season's about, and I hope you'll enjoy it as well. I'll rate it out of 10. Give me your ratings out of 10 for this first part, and yeah, that's about it.